Yes, here we are. Welcome. Happy Wednesday. You're seeing my face again. If you are seeing my face again, you know that you are tuning into Women's Wrestling Talk, the number one women's wrestling network on the planet. And we got so much to talk about today. If you don't know me or seen my face before, you know that I am Wrestling with Honey. I am one half. Today, I am one half of WWT's electrifying tag team in digital entertainment, and we are about to get into some wrestling talk right now.
Hello, guys. This is La Mera Mera Thunder Rosa, and I'm here to tell you that you're watching Women Wrestling Talk.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the number one women's wrestling network on the planet.
Boom, look who just bum rushed into the room. Women's Wrestling Talk is here. We are here. We are late. We are tardy to the party. I'm so sorry about that. Me and my tag team partner had to get some things rolling last minute, just make sure everything was in order and just make sure that we were all set to give you guys a great Wednesday show. Happy Wednesday, good people. So happy to see you. I am Wrestling with Honey, the busy bee, the queen of the honey pot, the sweetest oos, and one half of WWT's electrifying tag team in digital entertainment. And of course, if you know I'm saying that, you know I'm not alone. I don't like doing this alone, especially WWT Live. I love to have some good company, and I got some pretty great company. I actually have an elected official with me this evening. Our Councilman Farrow is in the house. How we doing today, Councilman?
The councilman's here. The councilman's here.
Yes, he is. Yes, indeed. Strapped up with the gold and all that, just letting them know.
Well, you already know the WWE's big back champion has to make sure he represents his belt. They retired this one and decided to let me go ahead and hold this belt. I'm not supposed to be showing this now. This is exclusively for lives. It ain't supposed to be shown on TV because we don't have a lot of budget. But since I am also one half of WWT's most electrifying tag team in digital entertainment, I was like, you know what? We're going to take the risk.
Let's bring out the gold. We shining. It's a hot summer day, but it's a little heavy. It's leather, but you know what? It looks good on you, Councilman. It looks really good on you.
Appreciate that. We gotta get us some tag team belts. We gotta get us some custom tag team belts.
Custom WWT tag team belts. Let's go. We're gonna have to make a petition for the boss lady, and get all the constituents to sign that petition and have that sent through. Hopefully, she doesn't veto it. But that would be pretty awesome if you ask me. Shout out to everybody in the chat already on and popping. Cousin Ron, we love to see you. And we are back, baby. You already know. Happy hump day to the WWT fam. Opening the show with bars. Yes. Dylan, always a pleasure. Our producer from the future, as always. Bear Hudson. We are going to get into all of that. Trust me. Jeffrey, good afternoon. Jeffrey was joining me and he was running all amok on our NXT post show. If you guys didn't check it out, please make sure you do. I actually did this one solo, but I got through it pretty okay. And it was quite short, being that, I'm just talking to the audience, but I never mind a really fun exchange. But you know what? I got my tag team partner with me today, and we about to get into some wrestling talk. And as we like to do here on Women's Wrestling Talk, we always love to do the ladies first. Not that he's a lady or anything, but this guy has made some claims about the ladies in his company. Mr. Tony Khan, or as we like to call him here, WWT, the fake TK, had a lot of words to say today. He had quite a few statements to make this week already. Again, with the Twitter fingers, as always, but he actually said this, I believe, in an interview. Apparently, Tony Khan believes that not we, but AEW, has the best women's wrestling in the world right now. And judging by my tag team partner's face and expression, it's just another one of those deep sigh moments where it's like, oh Tony.
I
Councilman,
just want to know what you mean by that.
what
You
what
got
what do we what do we make
I
of
hit
this?
with the Drewski.
I mean, it's a
what you
very
mean?
broad statement, but what do you make of it?
I mean, I think of one thing that I've brought up before several times. Your women's world champion was the fourth match, and the secondary title was the third to last match. So, as far as your division is concerned, what do you mean by the best? Now, are you if he's talking about, if we break this down, he's like, we're talking about competitors. Then we have an argument for that. We have a debate. Matter of fact, we have a debate for that because there is a thick roster.
Yes.
When it comes to the women's division, is it being utilized properly? Absolutely not. And every opportunity you have a chance to do it, you don't do it. You just spotlight whoever is your newest toy, like Mercedes Moné, and then that be it. But as far as everything else is concerned, what is the criteria in this and what he's asking? And then how do you compare this to a place that has not one show, not two shows, but three shows
in a week,
full, and all their women's rosters solid,
yes,
multiple champions, indie stars, all of these people, even people that are built from the new, are stacking up. Like it has never been a better time to be a women's wrestler than now.
Oh, of course.
But how are you trying to state it? Like, is it because you have a dope list? Cool, we can compare list to list. But if you're talking about overall, I just want to know who is his weed man, because I want to partake in what he's partaking. But honey, that's just me. What do you take away from this statement? Like, what did you think when you first heard this?
I think the minute I read the article, and I'm just like, well, dude, of course you would say that. It's easy for you to say that when you have stars on your roster like Willow Nightingale, Mercedes Moné, and Timeless Tony Storm, who have been holding it down for your division. But what else are you doing for the other women involved? You also had Thunder Rosa. You had Mariah May. You have so many other women on the roster that you could be doing so much more with. Even Ruby Soho, before she got pregnant. But it's just, Stephanie Kerr. There's so much going on. But it was just like, yeah, it's easy for you to say that when you have those kinds of stars on your roster, but what are you doing with them and how are you utilizing them? And are you really bringing forth their value up front when it comes to the in-ring action? You know what I mean? Like, are you really doing it justice? I mean, there's so many other women's divisions in other companies that are doing much better, that are better than AEW's roster. Just to name a few, you have a lot of New Japan Pro wrestling women. You have Marigold. You have the women in TNA. You have the women in WWE. Hello, like, just saying. But I feel like this is just a Tony with another case of the Mondays, because his ratings have tanked since last week and they're not doing so well. So I feel like he's just saying anything he can to big up what he has in order to back up his product. Cause you know what? He is the CEO, and and he has to speak highly of his product, because he's the one who has to believe that they are the best. Doesn't mean that they are, but I understand why he said it. I can't say it's the most sensible thing to say, though.
You're right. It's not. But I will give him that. Does it have the potential to be the best?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes. And it wouldn't take a lot of work for it to become the best.
No.
Because even now, it's still an even playing field for you with WWE, with TNA. I still think Japan is kicking their ass in women's wrestling right now, though. But it's if that's the case, why aren't you putting that at the helm? Why aren't you pushing that more? Why aren't you giving that more storyline than what's being given? Because I've only normally seen from what AEW, you might see Timeless Tony Storm, and now just currently, ain't no telling how long that's gonna last. Deanna Purrazzo, what's her name? Julia Hart, Mariah May, and then Saraya.
Yes.
And that's about it. That's about it. And then, like you said, you have a whole other team of people that you don't use, you don't utilize, nor do you ever mention Athena. And Athena is like, that's one of your biggest aces because of what she's doing. And you never mention her.
Never did anything to big up, her title run or anything like that. And she's dominated, like completely dominated. And how you don't put her at the forefront of that, especially being a women's champion. And I don't want to take it there, but she is probably the most dominant Black women's champion that they've had in the longest. So it's like, how can you not push her, the way you push Mercedes, who was injured before she even got in the ring. And that's no offense to anybody who's a fan of Mercedes. And I'm not saying that because I'm not a fan of her. I'm just saying it's just what I see. I just go by what I see. But let's go into the chat because we got a lot of interesting comments here. Boza, pleasure to see you as always, brother. Fake TK doesn't know his ass from a hole in the head. He knew about the women's division until Mercedes Moné decided to show her face there. Tony Storm or Tony Moreau has been relegated to Dynamite and Collision. That's a mouthful right there. That's a mouthful. Let's see who else we got here. Hold on. Why can I get? Oh, okay, there we go. Dylan, our producer from the future, says lots of words from Fake TK, which means a lot of allegedly. Oh
Allegedly.
Allegedly. We're the best wrestle. Indeed, so they say. So they say. Bear Hudson says, expect the unexpected. 628. I see some pointers up. What are you getting at, sir? Is there something that we don't know about? Is there something that we don't know about here, Councilman? You're gonna have to elaborate on that.
First of all, I'm gonna suspect that he's talking bloodline. And first of all, I didn't feel it within my soul and spirit that our tribal chief would be returning Friday. I haven't felt, but have you felt it, honey?
Not yet.
I have not felt it either. We feel it when our tribal chief is near.
Oh,
and
yes.
I don't.
We have that sixth sense.
We got that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because we acknowledge him every day. First is wake up, praise the Lord, thank you for the day, and then you acknowledge your tribal chief.
Absolutely.
Then you go about your day.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Boza also says he said that with Mercedes Moné still next to him, he hasn't really had to try. She is only 3-0 with a good chance of getting gifted the belt that was created for her on Sunday. So, TK, please lay off the stuff. I love it.
Yes.
What do you make of that statement, though?
I have something for that, and I think I read this and I thought this was a really good perception of what they gave this. So the way AEW runs their stuff is kind of like that classic 1995, 1998 WCW, where
that's exactly what I think every time I see them.
Exactly, where the match itself is the focus. And so these matches are great. Don't get me wrong. When you watch these things, these people put on bangers. Mm-hmm. But what this is proving is that there's a reason why Vince McMahon pivoted into sports entertainment, because he knew that it needed more. Mm-hmm. And you're proving why that's needed, because with you doing that, yes, we get these solid matches, but you know what else happens? You have a whole bunch of titles that don't mean anything. You have a roster that you don't fully utilize because you're going off a wins and losses ratio, which is like, okay, that's still cool, but you're not utilizing it to the best effect because everybody don't get a chance to wrestle.
You make a great point because Dylan Matthews here says the AEW women's wrestling has got a lot better. However, 95% of the time we have no idea why they're fighting or what they're fighting for. And I think that coincides with what you were trying to say, Councilman, because it's like there is no reasoning for why they're fighting. It's like this is just it's just wrestling. You're just watching wrestling, you know, and you have to have the thing that Tony Khan needs to learn is how to build stories. And he could take a couple notes by watching Monday and Friday. Just say, Eric, Eric, good to see you and happy birthday week for you, sir.
Happy birthday.
Yes,
Happy
sir.
birthday.
A thick roster, Councilman. Oh God, Dylan. Here we go. Back to the Big Back Championship. But let's not stray too far from the subject. Councilman's prediction of the AEW Women's Television Championship being more important than the AEW Women's Championship since Dawn has happened. Oof.
Yeah, it has. I called that.
It's a crime that TK only has had one women's match a week on each show. Yeah, fake TK got to do better in this case. Does he have the best roster? That remains to still be seen. A lot of people do think so because don't get us wrong, there are a lot of diehard AEW fans that are backing this up and will hang on every word this man says. But it's our problem with, I guess what our problem is and how I could wrap this topic up with him is we get it. You do have a very good roster, but it's not the best because there are still things that you're not doing and there's still ways that you're not utilizing these women and their talent. And there's so much more that he can do when he has when you have such a strong women's roster, as you can see, case in point, NXT. You know, all of a sudden we have a crazy women's division gunning for the NXT title. You got WWE. Need I say more?
Yep.
I digress.
And I'll add one thing to that. He has the best non-televised show on television. If this was not televised and you just heard of this coming each month, like, hey, this is what we're doing this month. This month, come check out this pay-per-view. This month, check out this pay-per-view. And there were just road shows, and it was nothing like televised to where you need story. Then AEW would be perfect because then you can have it like how you have it set up. The star and these two pit together. It's like, oh, this is a dream match. We can't wait to see that. Well, we don't need to hear none of that. It's just an interview now. But you're on television, so you need storylines.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Storytelling. And you know what? We'll cap it off on here. Dylan says, honey, this is a great time to remind the youth that doing drugs is bad and drugs are bad for you. Yes, they are. Don't do it like this, man.
The man got a button-up tuxedo suit with a hoodie on it. This should tell you everything about this man.
Yeah.
Everything.
Just saying. Fake TK got to do better. But moving on to more fake TK news. You guys might have seen this rolling around today. We have a quote from fake TK that says that he would not mind Shane McMahon joining AEW. And there's very big interest in the AEW door being open for Shane McMahon. This is what Tony Khan has said. I heard the rumor that he might be interested. I've never met Shane, but we have had a lot of mutual friends. I have a lot of respect for him as an executive and a professional wrestler. Shane is always welcome in AEW. What do you make of this fun little statement from the fake TK councilman?
This statement has now made me realize that Tony Khan may be Vince McMahon's illegitimate son. Because both of them look just alike, same facial expression, everything.
Yes.
You might need to go check a DNA test or something. I this one is a little less just than the first one. I think that this just is if this does happen, that's just a boost up for AEW. That is a boost up for Tony Khan. I just hope he utilizes it with Shane doing the back end stuff, then trying to say, hey, we have a McMahon in AEW.
Yeah. I mean, we know how fake TK can be,
Mm-hmm.
pun intended. But with Tony Khan, it's like you've badmouthed this company, this family so much that people would probably never predict a McMahon to join. But not for nothing, I personally think if you hire Shane McMahon, your job is done. But I would say bye-bye to TK, because Shane could easily replace that. Shane has lots of experience with doing the back end work and with booking or even storytelling. He was known as the best wrestler in the world at one point when he won the cup for WWE. This man is the king of the coast to coast. This man has jumped off of freaking Titantrons. You can't tell this guy nothing. He's jumped off of Hell in the Cells. He's damn near got the wind knocked out of him by spears and had an unfortunate incident during a couple of WrestleManias ago. But regardless of what, you can knock Shane McMahon and what he brings to the wrestling business and his value to the wrestling business. Not only just being a McMahon, but just he also used to be a referee. A lot of people don't even remember that. A lot of people, when Shane in his young days, he did the referee route. Jeffrey says Shane did own WCW in 2001. Well, storyline allegedly, because we all really knew who ran the whole thing and orchestrated the whole thing. But I don't know. I mean, is it possible? Listen, in 2024, it is possible, because in the world of never say never, and with the new regimes going on and all these doors opening, who knows? This could still be a possibility. But do I want that to happen? I don't think so. I don't know if I want that. I don't know if I want it
just because of, again, if he doesn't utilize it properly. And they would. It would be stupid if he does it to exploit that a McMahon is signed. Mm-hmm. But if you are to use it within the background to elevate y'all to where it's like, hey, you know what? Now your numbers are competing with WWE because you have that working mental mind that not only can speak to the wrestlers, but also speaks to fake TK. So even fake TK starts to get it. So it can benefit. It can either benefit or it can really blow up in his face. But more to the blowing up in his face than I think him allowing his pride to step aside and allow a McMahon to build that company and help build the company.
Yeah, but I have to agree with Bear Hudson here. He says it will never happen for so many reasons other than wrestling, which I kind of agree with. Boza also says fake TK does stuff to make sure Vince McMahon didn't get things, a la Ring of Honor. Fake TK is a spoiled rat. I mean, when you're a business billionaire and you got money to throw around, I guess that's what you kind of do. You know,
he don't know nothing else. So
Dylan says, I'd love to see if they use Shane's music or they do a different thing. They better not touch that music. They better leave that alone. That belongs to us. Thank you very much.
When he got to fall from the arena when he come out.
Right.
Nothing.
Not absolutely nada. But I feel like we spent more than enough time on fake TK. Is there anything else that you wanted to cover, Councilman? Why don't you lead us into the next one?
Yeah, no, I want to get out of fake TK house, man. It's stinking here. It smells like I don't be in here no more, man. Let's get into some TNA action, man. TNA has just signed one of the hottest tag teams out in the indie circuit right now, Sinner and Saint.
Apparently, from what I've seen, just real quick, I've seen that they've said signs electrifying tag team. I thought we were the electrifying tag team, but you know what? We're gonna have to figure this out.
Man, that's the Vice City fans that's saying that. That's what that is. That's anywho.
Yeah. The news broke out today, in case you were living under a rock. TNA Wrestling has signed Sinner and Saint. It was confirmed today that Judas Icarus, who is Sinner, and Travis Williams, who is Saint, they were former rivals, but they've been teaming since 2022. They're both from British Columbia, Canada, and they are pretty much a force to be reckoned with. They have lots of inspiration drawn from wrestlers like Suzuki and Eddie Guerrero, Jeff Hardy, Roderick Strong, CM Punk. They've had, they've had extensive years in wrestling. Between the both of them together, I would say like about maybe 15 years they've been in the business. What do we think about TNA's new signees? Have we seen them? Have you seen them before? Are you familiar with them at all, Councilman?
Yeah. No, I remember when they who was it that I saw them fight? I think it was I think it was it's something crew. It's something crew. Hold on a little bit. Second Gear Crew. That's what it was. I saw them. Second Gear Crew versus Satan Sinners, and it was like it was Defy Wrestling. It was just like a YouTube clip I saw. And man, I think this is the perfect place for them to be. Yes, they were jobbers last week to the Rascals, but because of how they're trying to set that tag team up, the tag team division up, I understand why they're doing it, because they got to try to make the Rascals look strong, especially since it's seeming more clearly that they're going to reunite with Wes Lee and go up against Gallus. That I'm seeing that more and more even after I watched that match. But I think it's a great addition to TNA because they're going to give you a lot of dope spots, a lot of dope action, and I've seen that they know how to carry themselves as a tag team.
Yeah.
And so even as with this company growing, I can see them being the face of the tag team division, being able to put them out, especially with the aesthetic that TNA goes with. I think these boys have a lot of potential to make a lot of headway in the TNA tag team division, or even again, too, if they decide to split again. But I think this was a smart signing for them to do and to go to TNA, especially for how they've been handling business.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting and interesting to see what TNA does with them, and especially with the crossover with NXT. It does look like Wes Lee needs some help, and they kind of do give me some Rascal vibes, and I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that a lot. So, but nevertheless, shout outs to the newly signed tag team Sinner and Saint being part of TNA. This is really exciting, and we love to see fresh blood in the division. We love to see it.
Yeah.
Especially if they're going to be, fresh to new viewers like myself on the WWE end as well. But this was really cool. Let me see. Boza, excuse me. Thank you. Excuse me. Bless me. Thank you. I just did what Homeboy from the Jets did. Wow. TNA revealed 2 matches for their tapings this week at the 2300 Friday mixed tag. The Edwards, Eddie, and Alicia versus the Hardys, Broken Matt, and Queen Rebecca. Saturday, the System non-title with the Hardys. Ooh. Well, could this be where they insert Sinner and Saint, as the newly signed talent? They are expected to be in action this Friday and Saturday as TNA Wrestling brings back-to-back nights this weekend at the arena in Philadelphia, which is really cool. So I can't wait to see what transpires from those fun events. Next up, the Queen of Spades is returned. She is returning, and it was announced by Josh Barnett that she will be returning for Bloodsport, which will be happening July 28th on Sunday in Brooklyn, New York. The Queen of Spades returns to Bloodsport once again, especially after an amazing Bloodsport event that happened during Philly weekend. What do we think of this, Councilman?
I think this is dope, and especially since she's going up against, I think, Masha Slamovich.
Yes, again.
I'm excited because it also makes me bring up too, thinking about AJ Styles and them going back home to their stuff of just like, okay, what does WWE have prepared for them, and being able to sending these people out as bridges to all these other places. And I think too, this kind of going back home, I feel like it's also kind of like a reset. So this is what I'm hoping, that this is a gear and shows WWE of getting her back on the NXT Shayna Baszler train, like that. that bloodthirsty Shayna Baszler that either made you snap.
Tap, nap, or snap all day. And I love that they're using Bloodsport, this event, as a refresher or as like a resetter for Shayna Baszler, just to keep reminding those who forget, like some people that I will not name, who she really is, and that she is the true queen of MMA and pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yes.
Stirring the pot up a little bit.
The real queen, one that conducts themselves properly and not shaking booty meat everywhere, which I still like, by the way. I'm not saying it's wrong.
And we've been busted, Councilman. We've been busted. There he is. You say his name and he shall appear. The mayor is in the chat. Hello,
I'm
sir.
glad here. You get your client ready, sir. We taking her to court after that assault charge that we will be filing on Miss Lola Vice. You don't treat Roxanne Perez the way that happened. That was assault last Tuesday. All right, she was out here defending herself. That lady got registered hands and feet. She knew better, and she's smaller than her. You better tell your client get her paperwork in order. She got to sell a lot of blue shirts to pay for these legal fees when we take her to court.
And our esteemed other elected official in the chat is predicting another L for Shayna, and I really hope that's not the case. And he is calling Lola Vice. Well, do your thing, sir. Do your thing. Dylan says, "I believe in the EST." You see, you say his name and he appears. Mr. Mayor's calling his client and getting everything situated in Vice City. You handle that business. You handle that business, sir. Dylan makes an interesting point. Imagine if Paul Heyman pulls up to the ECW arena during a TNA taping. That would be pretty crazy, considering that that's where they're having the TNA event that we just mentioned for Sinner and Saint that they'll be a part of. That's pretty crazy.
And you know how they can make that go? How they can make that work? He walks in and shows interest in Joe Hendry.
Oh my Lord.
Could I see Joe Hendry as a Paul Heyman guy? Nothing has to really come of it, but just being able to say that in ECW's former arena during that time with everything that's happening.
I like the way your mind goes, Councilman. You like me. You like to build your own rabbit hole. I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. Cindy, good to see you, my love. Roxanne Perez turning up with a fake neck brace next week. You think so?
It's nothing fake about it. Okay.
Yeah, that was real assault.
Yeah, that was assault. Okay. A professional combat fighter hitting a sports entertainment star the way she did, and then gonna sit here and just mutilate her that way. You gonna hold her and torture her, and then you just pimp slap yo NXT women. Then theft. We gotta throw theft in there. She out here stealing titles, going to take pictures with the titles and stuff like that. All this evidence we done put against you down. Assault, battery, trespassing, disturbing the peace with all that booty meat out. And then a fashion statement. Nobody told you put them damn them backpack buckles on your outfit and make yourself look good. You damn near gave Booker T a stroke sitting there at ringside. That lady is a menace. A minute.
Councilman is going off, and Councilman is not feeling it. Our mayor is not feeling these comments. Apparently, Jeffrey says, Lola, that's the 305 Black Fist, Councilman. Eddie James, good to see you. Unpopular opinion: Joe Hendry is just another Fandango with a better theme song.
Well, I said
that's an interesting way of putting that. But
I just want to know. Well, I haven't seen him wrestle either. I do need to check that out.
I want to see him wrestle, especially in NXT. I kind of want to see him, but it's safe to say that the Councilman is really, really, really not feeling the assault that happened on Roxanne Perez. This must have been you when you saw it.
This is bullshit.
That's right there.
Word for word, verbatim.
You need to tell your client to conduct herself better, okay? Especially if she will be the next NXT Women's Champion. Is that the type of perception that you want your champion to give to the little babies out there?
Have some decorum.
Some
Have some
decorum.
decorum. Something,
Okay,
please.
you are a combat artist and you just picking on people. That is bullying. Your client is a bully right now.
Sid Deal says it's a good thing Julia didn't attack her. Well, Julia's still out. We still don't know what her timeline is looking like yet, but Jeffrey says he's a good wrestler and entertainer, guys. Joe Hendry is actually really good. I see it.
Yeah.
I see it. I did lightly mention earlier this week that I might be a believer in Joe Hendry. I just need to see a little more, but he's got something. He's got something appealing that I'd like to see more of. I just need to see him wrestle and see how he really, really works.
I think you said it best because it got me too. When he turned and smiled, I was like, I don't know why.
For some reason, it was like very Truman Show or something like that. Like very just TV show guy, like Ace Ventura. Like, very, I don't know what it was, but it was just something about it. And then not that combined with the fact that the crowd went nuts and they just started singing the song, and not for nothing, the song is great. It's a great song. It's a great song.
His name and I was like, I like this. Who's this?
Oh, Eddie James, be nice. Julia has actually fully recovered. We're less than 2 weeks away from her next match. Ooh, interesting. Thank you for the intel there. All-Star Fandom, good to see you. Welcome back. Booker T isn't going to make it in NXT. He can't even control himself. We're not even going to go there. We're not going to go there.
I'm not going to lie. His commentary has elevated NXT, though.
It's so funny because it's like there's days where I'm annoyed with it, and then there's days where I'm like where I laugh and I'm just like I heard it. I'm like, did he just say that? Tell me he didn't just say that.
Yes, but that's what I like about it. That's what I like about it because commentary announcers like Samantha Irvin, like all of these side things you didn't normally, not many say not normally worry about, because back in like the golden era, it was still like that. Like you had a focus on like the commentators and stuff like that, but for this at a certain point, it fell off. But now it's getting back to that. Like Raw has its own.
It was also because of Sexy Red. It was because of the Sexy Red commentary.
Yeah,
that's basically.
But it's Sexy Red. Like, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? When Jada Parker come outside and come down that ring, would you know what I'm saying? Like this is the Heartbreak Kid era.
Yes.
It ain't never looked like this in WWE. It's a cornucopia of incredible women running around right now. And not only just divas beautiful, but can get down in the ring. Like that's why I said it has never been a better time to be a woman's wrestler.
Or a women's wrestling fan, that's for sure.
Yes.
I remember years ago being a kid and just wondering, like, why is there no women's intercontinental title? Why are there no women's tag team titles? Why isn't there a women's world championship? And now it's just all here, it's all here, and we're getting exactly what we love to see as wrestling fans. But shout outs to the queen, the true queen of spades and NXT, for her return to Bloodsport coming up in Brooklyn on July 28th. Can't wait to see what transpires from that. Let's see what else we got. Yes. On to some more exciting and fun news. We have the WWE Universal Champion Cody Rhodes made a very interesting statement recently, and he had said that he has a number one red flag when a veteran joins a company. And this is what he says. I'll tell you the number one red flag I hear. If you meet a guy who is a legend, who is coming in on the roster and he's going to be active, or a part-time guy who is on the roster and going to be active, whatever it may be, the number one red flag, if you're a young or in the middle of the pack talent, is when you hear somebody say, I'm just here for the young guys. I already know you're not just here for the young guys. I would rather you tell me straight up, I'm here for some of y'all and I'm here for myself. Cody then goes on to say, this is a selfish, competitive business. I like the most transparent of people who just say, hey, here's what I like to do and let's do it. Whenever I hear I'm here for the young guys, which is not often and not anytime recently that I've heard that, in my mind, instantly, it's like the biggest red flag ever. That's it. I'd rather hear them tell us he's just here for himself. What do you make of this very bold statement by the Universal Champion?
Hogan. Ooh. Ooh, I'm so sorry.
Sorry, Councilman. Do you need somebody get this man some water? You need a refreshment, sir? I'll take one with you. I just felt like there was just
it's a whole bunch of BS
dust
in there. Just so many. it's a lot of dust maniacs out here. Just yeah. But no, he's absolutely right. Again, I used to wrestle, so you understand the hierarchy with it and stuff like that. But yeah, to that same point of what he said, it's like, yo, just be transparent. Like, don't try to come here with the intent of just like, oh yeah, I'm here to show the young people something. And it's like, okay, well, cool. Let's talk about, what do you plan on showing them? Because for some of you legends, there's a lot of stuff you should not be telling these young cats at all. So if you talk, and then too, of just like, if you're going to be here for the young cats, why not be here to absorb what they're doing? Why don't you learn from them? And then how to acclimate with that. But if that's not the case, and it's just like, hey, I came back here to face AJ Styles, or hey, I came back so I can take on Randy Orton, or I can take on Carmelo Hayes because I think this is a good look. Trying to hide in the fact of like, and again, it's politics. So it's like, okay, if I get the young cats behind me, then that means, it starts to shift the crowd a little bit. Rather than people remembering like, oh yeah, bro, you were kind of a-hole when you were around, and everybody else is, it also is. It sounds very predatory. Sounds very predatory. Like, ooh, let me go after the young talent.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
That's with the young talent, because you already know the veterans that are there. You can't get one over on them.
Oh my God, I can't deal. I don't even want to touch that. Bear Hudson says Dwayne Johnson, final boss. Not sure. You might have to digress from the statement.
No, because, and again too, if we watching that documentary that's finally finna come out for WrestleMania 41, I believe it comes out July 3rd
yes.
on YouTube.
On YouTube, yep, it's gonna be
it shows you about like what's going on. And again, unless there's some real particular evidence you gonna give, you need to vote out.
You know what, Mayor, where are you? Are you out in the streets of Vice City or Parkerville, like, or something? Like, you know what? You behave, sir.
Because she's at least helped people. I will say that. Like, when she was with Tegan got a lot better when she was under Natty.
Yes.
We saw her style get a lot better and a lot less where she gonna get herself hurt. So at least it's like that. It's not, hey guy, I know we had Bash at the beach. I don't really want to go over. I don't want to go under and have you in. Could you just like lay down? I'm gonna put my foot on you and I'm gonna get the title back, even though I'm like 50 years old now.
Or better yet, just stand there and I'm just gonna poke you and then you just fall and I'll pin you. How about that? For those who don't remember the finger poke of death, go see it. It was quite the scene. Let's see. Dylan says Cody Rhodes is currently on a private jet to that fan's wedding that he promised to attend. That's my WWE champion. You see, now, you know what? Let me get into more comments before I go off a little bit on Cody. Matt Spano, good to see you as always. I need a heel turn for Cody. Interesting. I believe Undertaker said something recently like that on his 6 Feet Under podcast, but we're going to wait on that. Not yet. Let it cook. Let it simmer. We could see it. There's elements in there, but not yet. Cedric says, not my final boss. Mako Satomura is. Cindy O tends to agree. I don't know. I might have to do my research on that, but yeah. Dylan says, said is currently leading a Bible studies class in Vice City. Oh yeah, sure. Either that or a twerk fest. One or the other. It's got to be one of them.
I hope he's giving the scripture of how to love thy neighbor, because Lola Show wasn't showing that this past Tuesday.
Yeah. She actually hasn't really been shaking much since she beat Shayna. She's been all business, so I can't.
Yeah.
I gotta hand it to her.
Yes,
There's been a little different going around. The word ain't found in this town. Mayor,
that's a shirt. Now that's
Mayor,
a shirt.
That's a t-shirt.
That's a t-shirt for Vice City.
That's a damn t-shirt. I cannot deal. Yeah. Let's see. But yeah, Cody Rhodes. Let me talk about Cody Rhodes for a second. Yeah. Cody Rhodes, and I've said this, I've said this a few times to a few people and probably on a few of my live streams, but Cody Rhodes, there's never been a moment where I felt like he would ever lie. He tells no lies in this situation. Cody Rhodes is allowed to say and comment on things like this, especially not because he's champion, not because he's the guy right now, but because he's Cody Rhodes, number one. And number two, Cody Rhodes is literally the most selfless champion that we will ever see in our lifetime. I don't know if anybody really realizes how great and how good he is at being the guy. Like I've heard so many situations where it takes forever for Cody to get to an arena or even to a hotel, to his hotel, because he's too busy signing autographs and talking to fans. Like he just always wants to engage and like what Dylan just said, he's going to a fan's wedding. He also did a gender reveal in the middle of the ring. He put a freaking banana on his head. He makes the people laugh. He makes the people cry. He makes the people feel something. And he's just such a good person. I'm not even talking wrestling mode. I'm talking just a good person with a really good heart, and he knows the business. He knows this business well enough. He's the son of a Rhodes. He is third generation, but I believe he has every right to say and comment on such things, because there have been many times where the old veterans, especially in the old regime, Vince
Goldberg,
yeah, right, Lesnar, things like that. The only legend, I guess, that can say this and not get any flack for it is The Undertaker.
And John Cena. And
John Cena, because they actually mean it. And they're probably the most selfless wrestlers that we've seen. And they've elevated so many careers. Because there were individuals that did do that for them. So it's about just setting the precedent and setting the principle of just do right by the company and do right by the other talent, because everybody's all after the same thing. Everybody wants to be on top. Everybody wants to be a number one contender. Everybody wants to hold gold. Everybody wants to be the best. But at the end of the day, like Cody said, say it with your chest. Just say it to my face. I would prefer you to say that as opposed to saying, oh, I just want to put the young guys over and that's it. I mean, even though we've had Sean Spears saying a very similar thing on NXT. So now that makes me ponder. But
well, you know what it makes me ponder. We know he's not done with the final boss, but the way he's moving, does Rock acknowledge him as the new people's champion? Well, because again, if you think about it, it's been from Muhammad to The Rock. It's been long enough where that moniker could move
to the people's champion, to Cody Rhodes. Absolutely.
And he got a belt for it now.
And it would have to happen only if Cody gets to pin Dwayne Johnson, because he did not pin him at WrestleMania. No, he did not pin him at all that whole weekend. Just so y'all know.
But then The Rock pinned him.
The Rock pinned him that first night.
Rock is definitely gonna give that back to him. So that's why I can see that happening.
Yeah. Yep. Let The Rock, The Rock's doing Moana and he's doing the UFC film and all that stuff. Let him do his thing. The final boss will reemerge. He will reemerge very, very soon.
And we'll slowly speaking.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Boza says he appreciates WWE fans this go round. He does more than any WWE champion is expected to. I would have to agree. Jeffrey says Cody's so selfless, and that's why we gravitate to you. All Star Fandom says totally agree about Cody was at Rumble, and it seems like he stayed out there taking photos forever. He's literally one of the best baby faces since John Cena. Said our mayor says I can make an argument that the aforementioned CM Punk ass is selfless as well. Yes, this time around. 7 years ago, not so much.
Yeah, and I would, and you know what though, you already know how I feel about him, but I will agree with that. I do, and I'd even think too. Back in the gap, like it was more from a friend standpoint, but there were times that you would see CM Punk let his friends go over. He'll take the fall. He'll take the pin for him. So I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Moving on from Cody. Oh yeah. The main one, Zillafat 2, will be making his House of Glory debut Friday, July 26th at High Intensity. They will be at the NYC Arena in Jamaica, Queens. Wow, I used to live out there. In Queens, and it is going to be highly intense, I would say. What do we think about the debut of Mr. Zilla Fatu, another one of the bloodline?
I still don't know if House of Glory is still owned by Master P. Like I heard that somewhere that Master P owns
House of Glory.
House of Glory.
Can someone confirm this?
Yeah, I don't know if that was. I remember hearing that at one point that Master P bought House of Glory. I don't know how true that is, but to this though.
So it is an American professional wrestling school promotion based in New York, created by Amazing Red, who is related to our girl Zelina Vega, and is owned by Master P. There we go. I learned something new today. I never knew that. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I remember hearing the sign. I was like, did that really happen? But I never knew if it was like official or not. But,
we know that, but we know Zilla has been regularly wrestling for GCW recently, and he also competed in Reality of Wrestling. But what do we think about his debut to House of Glory, Councilman?
I think it's good. I think it still kind of moves in when Jacob went and became champion as well over there. I think it's just one of those independent circuits that is growing and growing better, and we've seen them with the spots that they've had, like having Swerve Strickland there, Matt Cardona coming through. It makes something about that place, and I haven't had the pleasure of being able to go check out a show, but I've seen some of their stuff. It's like something about that place feels like that it's set right above the big time. Like you get right here, we're seeing this. Okay, now we see you can do it. We can get you. Let's move you into development. And I'll say it's one of those pieces. I know there's other independent shows too that are up in that same level, but I feel like he's kind of been through those already. I think this one will help him kind of get that last bit of footing that he needs. Maybe one more promotion, and then I think his next stop is WWE. So I just think this is a good, I don't want to call it stepping stone so it sounds bad, but I think this is a great stop for him to get to be able to get up there to where his family is.
Yeah, it's a little rest stop on the road to get to the final destination. I want to just quickly touch on a comment that he was asked. For some of you guys that don't know, but of course a lot of you should know. If not, you've been living under a rock. Zilla Fatu is the son of the legend Umaga. And he was asked recently about about continuing the cycle and aiming to land in WWE. He obviously doesn't want to break the cycle. He wants to continue it. And he was asked to comment on what being a part of the bloodline would felt like. And he says, it feels good. I'm happy and we all deserve it. People that came before me, you got to give them their flowers. Afa Sika, which we will get into next. Snuka, the Rock, Peter Maivia, they started this foundation for our family. The Rock, Rikishi, Yokozuna, his uncle, They took to a whole nother level, and then you have Roman Reigns, the Usos bloodline taking it to an even bigger level. So it really is a family business, and I'm happy and blessed to be a part of this. He also goes on to say, I'm coming up too. Like I said, I'm on the indies, but I'm not in no rush. What do we think about Zilla Fatu's formula as far as not wanting to rush, but also not wanting to break the cycle of having the rollout of the bloodline members be a part of WWE, Councilman?
I think it's smart on his part, and that was something I was also about to ask you too. To this, with him moving at the pace that he's moving, how do you see Zilla's trajectory going? Does it go straight to joining the bloodline, or with what we know about Zilla, maybe him going the Jey Uso route and going on his own, maybe starting at NXT and building something for himself outside of the bloodline? I'm gonna ask you, which do you see as a better path for him?
I think the path that best suits you is one that you take in stride, one that you don't want to rush the process, because the process is part of the journey. So and in order to get to the destination, you have to go through a journey first. And I think what he's doing is very, very smart. As far as how they would roll him into if he makes it onto this side of WWE, I think it would be a little similar to Solo Sikoa, but I feel like there's something about Zilla where he doesn't need to be in a faction. There's something about Zilla, especially with him calling himself the main one. You have the great one, you got acknowledge him, like you got the ones, and now you got the main one. So I think that's something that could very much stick. That's definitely going to be on a t-shirt and sell like crazy. You also got, just like how Jacob Fatu is the Samoan werewolf t-shirt has completely like gone crazy in merchandise.
Or even says
like
too, the main one versus the day one.
The day ones, yes, exactly. Day ones too. So it's like everybody's got their own one. So I feel like this just beefs it up even more for an even bigger bloodline civil war that we never thought we'd see. But like Zilla, I'm gonna trust the process, and I'm just gonna take this story in stride, even though it's not my bloodline. But yeah, there's I like his vibe, and I love, there's just so many, like it's so crazy to me because you look at every single one of them and you could see every single one of them in each other. Like you could see Yokozuna, you could see obviously Umaga and all of the Rikishi, like they have all of the potential, not even in just the look, but in how they wrestle as well. There's so many elements of, the wild Samoans and Peter Maivia. It's such a great tribute. It's so crazy to realize how truly deep this bloodline runs. It's pretty insane. But I am looking very forward to seeing Zilla Fatu joining us eventually, of course, after he goes on his side missions. I will say he has pitched the idea, and there's time, and he said, and he's commented and said that he's pitched the idea of him, Jacob joining Jey Uso on Raw a while back. And I don't know. Maybe even in NXT, maybe he could show up in NXT, do a quick run, being that he's reconciled his relationship with Booker T as well. I know Booker T will totally big him up, and as far as the commentary goes as well.
And your cousin is the manager.
And your cousin is the manager. You see, just when you think that this bloodline ends, nah. In the words of LA Knight. Let's go into some of the comments. Eddie says Zilla Fatu needs a couple years in the PC. He's not ready for the main roster. Okay. Zindiel says bloodline so big they need their own show. You best believe it. I'm not sure what Cedric was referring to being hilarious, but Bear Hudson says, can confirm before I leave. Always expect the unexpected. I will bookmark this chat to say I'm right. Bear Hudson, I like these little hints. You know, they might as well be like QR codes. I kind of like this. I kind of like,
Right.
you know, it's like I gotta figure you out and what you're trying to say. It's like riddle me this. I'm liking it. Keep it up. It's really fun. Dylan says Bow Wow gonna be the House of Glory champion by the end of the year. Jesus. Not Bow Wow, Dylan. Jeffrey says Zilla could be okay. Roman's side when he could be okay. Roman's side when he's ready. Possibly.
You already know how I said it, man. I already set it up. Things are about to pick up on the road to SummerSlam. Absolutely.
With the alley-oop. Yep. It's you know, there's a heat wave coming, and then we got SummerSlam. It's the hottest event of the year. Yes, Cousin Rod says, I think I gotta swing down for a House of Glory show one of these days. That would be cool. I don't think I've ever been to a House of Glory show.
I haven't, but I heard they're great. Like I heard it's great atmosphere because it's kind of closed off, a little personal and stuff too.
Yeah. Boza says he has one chance to make this right, and he is taking his time. I think he would take some time. The same route as Jey Uso going singles route. I could, for some reason, even looking at this picture alone, I could totally see that.
I see that. Yeah, I see it. Like I see, like you said, the NXT route, doing some stuff there, really like establishing himself, or even to like them trying to make him give them the call like they did Solo and him not taking it. It's just like, hey, bro, like I'm not. Y'all got that. Y'all good. If y'all really need something, I'm here. But like, yo, I'm trying to pay my own path.
Dylan, it's amazing how someone could look that intimidating with that haircut. Listen, he's the son of Umaga. I'm not fucking with him. Just saying.
Anybody that get neck tattoos right here, you don't play around with them.
You don't want to mess with that at all.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see here what we got next. Yes, okay. So next, for some unfortunate and sad news, we unfortunately found out that the late great Sika Anoa'i has passed away. For those of you who don't know, not only is he a Hall of Famer, but he is your tribal chief's father. Passed away at the age of 79. He died June 25th. We send all the condolences and love to the Anoa'i family and all the Samoans and the whole entire bloodline, because this is a very, very major loss. For a lot of you who don't remember, probably one of the last times we saw Sika on TV was when he had presented Roman with the tribal chief Lei, and along with Afa, when they confirmed that they acknowledged him as the new tribal chief and as the new leader of the family. So we just want to send them all the love and prayers and condolences to the Anoa'i family, and rest in peace, legend. We will never forget all of your contributions to the business. Yeah, absolutely. It's, you just hate to see it. You just hate to see that. I know, and Roman has also put out a tweet to confirm and to acknowledge all the fans for their outpouring of support and love. And we will continue to give that to our tribal chief, because that's what we do here all day at WWT. We acknowledge our tribal chief, and we acknowledge you, Sika Anoa'i. So sleep and rest in peace, legend. Boza says he was the father of the bloodline. Thoughts and prayers to the bloodline. There's supposed to be a bloodline acknowledgement ceremony on Friday. Don't be surprised if that's pushed back. True. Very true.
I think it still will be. I think they might still do it just even more.
I think they could still do it as a tribute. Yeah, as a tribute for sure. Eric says, rest in power, Sika. You will never lose your seat at the table. Absolutely not. We all know that he was one half of the legendary tag team, the Wild Samoans, along with Afa. And this is a devastating loss to the Anoa'i family. So prayers out to them. And we love the Anoa'i family. Going from sad to either mad or bad.
Or Jerry Springer like.
Or Jerry Springer or happy. We got, not for nothing, as crazy as this segment was, Monday Night Raw peaked. Their ratings peaked at this moment. With this clash going on between Liv, Dom, including the LWO with Zelina Vega, with 2,074,000 viewers on Raw this past Monday. You guys know that Liv is still tormenting poor Dom and, coming out with shirts saying Daddy's Girl and Daddy Dom. And there was a little bit of heat back and forth with our queen, our queen, Zelina Vega, La Muñeca of the LWO. She came out and had some things to say, and not for nothing, I'm so happy that they put a mic in my girl's hand again. Can I just say that? Can we just justice for Zelina Vega is being restored in the world of WWE? And I get we got Monday Night Live and Monday Night Rollins, but we got Monday Night Muñeca. Because did you see that outfit that she was wearing? Miss Thing was given, oh, you and Rhea think you run stuff. I'm the dom around here, and I'm about to whip all your asses, and I'm so here for it. Thank you so much, WWE, for putting a microphone in my girl's hand where it rightfully needs to be, because that girl can work on the mic. But I digress, and I put over Zelina all the time, every chance I get. What did you think, Councilman, of this segment overall, and the back and forth between Liv, and the fact that Rey Mysterio stepped in and Dom kind of defended Liv from his daddy?
Man, I love it because of so many layers that was shown through this. So like you said, we're at one of the highest ratings, and that just is also a nod to this being the Triple H era, like knowing where to pivot and where to go. Like he already knows, like, again, he doesn't cast this overshadow like a Vince, where it's like, okay, I have this broad span and I'm not paying attention to things. Like Triple H knows where to put these people and how they move and how the pieces are set to where all of this is elevating them. Like Zelina is ridiculous on the mic, but look how it made Liv step up as the champion on the mic. Even to the point of like how Liv is acting. Like we're not playing into the software like when she was SmackDown's champion. It didn't fit. This whole thing that she's moving, even with the torment of Dom, the daddy shirt, the social size of how she's moving. I love seeing the creative freedom all of them are having. Even the Dominic's point of eating a whole tray of nuggets in the Judgment Day. And then his dad coming out and then furthering the story by protecting Liv. But you know me, I'm with you. I'm always justice for Zelina, and then being able to get a world title match like she effing deserves. Like it just shows you where they're moving into. One, definitely loving all the Latino representation right here that was in this ring. And even just, Liv playing to her thing, the femme fatale, playing it right. This is why it was the most views, because it was drama. We know that they're going to give us a great match. It also sets us up for more matches. A lot of the stuff AEW should be looking at and maybe try to do, and you could have a product just like this.
And it's funny that you say that, because Jeffrey Reimer on cue says, CTK, this is how you book a women's storyline. And I would have to agree. Poor Dom.
I'm going to fight all these urges, my brother.
All these urges, my brother.
He can't fight. He can't. It's really hard for him to fight off, especially when you got a whole tray of chicken nuggets. Somebody giving me a whole tray of McDonald's chicken nuggets, I'd be like that too. And just pass me the barbecue sauce, please. Just pass me the barbecue sauce. I got.
And then after she say too, Rhea ain't never got you nothing, has she? I'm like,
and you know what? That's crazy to think about. There was a lot of crazy points made this past Monday with these two, and things were quite heating up. But shout outs to Zelina Vega also for getting that sloppy seconds chant in there.
Oh my God, it was awesome. So good. And again, that just attests, to what she can do. And I really hope they keep pushing her further, not only there, but even from the outside of just like, everything that she does. Like, this is a woman who is a very great representation as a champion. And I hope to see her become one. And then two, although I will say this, and I'm hoping it's happening again. I'm still going Chelsea in the bank, but Zelina in the bank.
Listen, La Muñeca in the bank. I said that since 2 to 3 years. I said that for the last couple years, that she should have been winning something.
If
like,
not
her with the money in the bank. Her with the money in the bank may not look like a threat, but it is.
No,
don't ever underestimate the little one. Don't ever underestimate.
That's her best way in. If not this year, next year. because I know she has a title match this Monday with Liv.
Yes.
But if she can be put into it, if she's not put into this one, but next year, I definitely see Zelina in the bank coming.
Yeah.
But I will ask you this, speaking of crazy, because I have a thought on all of this too, and I wanted to get your opinion on it.
Okay.
So we also know this past Monday on Raw, we got new tag team champions in Finn Balor and JD McDonough.
Yes, we did.
I want to know,
surprise.
Which was a big surprise. But now I want to know your thoughts on what if Finn is the mastermind behind all of this and is trying to push Damian out and reclaim the Judgment Day for himself and also using Liv to do this?
You know what? That's not far-fetched. I could totally see that being a thing. There's a resurfaced clip of Liv Morgan, Finn Balor, and AJ Styles talking about how to take down the Judgment Day, and we have to take it down from the inside out. Years ago, a couple years back. I mean, we've been sensing dissension in the ranks for months now. Damian Priest ain't wearing no purple like that. Finn Balor has been having these really weird and interesting interactions with Priest lately. We've been seeing the Demon's face appearing in the JD Clubhouse now, and they're all just seem to be taking a liking to Liv, which is really strange to me. I mean, I know Dom is on the defense half the time, and he's saying "mommy this" and "mommy that," but until mommy comes back, we're not gonna. We don't know anything. And what are the intentions? Because not only was Liv seen leaving a room with Dom, she was leaving the locker room, the JD Clubhouse locker room on Monday, and she said, "Hi, Damian. Bye, Damian." And in there was Finn Balor playing the video games. So it's like.
And let's not forget,
something's coming, something's gonna happen, and the Judgment Day is definitely going to change. There's lots of changes that are happening, like the same with going on with Damage Control. I feel like that's the same thing that's gonna be happening with JD. They're really, really trying to throw us off, and they've been hinting at them. Breaking up for a while now. Cedric makes a good point. Finn and Priest had beef just this time last year, which is crazy because it's like a year later and is like, is there still beef? Don't know.
Think about it, man. You got a dude that I believe in, and again, I could be wrong, but started one of the other greatest factions across the world in Japan with the Bullet Club. This guy is a strategist. This guy does like Finn ain't no joke. And I think too, like people really be forgetting that like Finn is nothing to play with. Finn
has never been a scrub.
There's
no such thing. There's no such thing as Finn being a scrub. Like Finn is a heel, and not for nothing, he's been running with this heel move since his match with Bray Wyatt as the Fiend when the Fiend debuted in SummerSlam, and that was what 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And he turned into the Prince, and he went to NXT and all of that stuff, and now he's here with Judgment Day. Are we finally going to see the Finn Balor that we've been waiting to see, since he's arrived in the main roster, that forgotten former Universal Champion Finn Balor who only had the title for less than a day, know? And listen, don't sleep on Finn Balor. If Finn Balor takes over the Judgment Day as its new leader, I will be happy with this. I love the Judgment Day no matter what. But I will be happy with it. But just know that mommy's not going to be happy.
But you know what I think break them up? And I'm calling it now. You know what I think breaks them up? The Wyatts. I think a battle with the Wyatts is going to break up Judgment Day.
I see where you're getting at, because Uncle Howdy's thing, the Fiend's thing was more like hurt and heal. And he turned him into a heel, technically, right? But now Uncle Howdy's thing is remember who you are.
Yep. They forgot about you.
Oh, shoot. That's really cool. You just planted a really crazy seed in my head.
Think about it. Think about it. And we always wanted the Demon to come back.
Oh my
We've
God, yes. I've
always
been wanting
wanted
to
to see
ever since that screw up, that mishap when they cut the freaking ring and freaking Vince. Can't.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't want to go into that because that's going to make me upset. But we need a reminder for the people in the back who done forgot about our boy Finn Balor, the Prince, and how heavy, how much of a heavy hitter he really is. Because listen, even before he became this Judgment Day person, he was already throwing bangers, already
yeah,
throwing out bangers, even as a face, and he was going over with the crowd and everything like that. Like, please,
yeah.
listen. The
And
Lord knows, but
I
Lord
see it.
knows what'll
I see it.
happen. But shout outs to these individuals that were a part of this moment, because the ratings went through the roof at this moment, especially with the storyline. So shout outs to Liv, Dom, and the LWO, especially Zelina Vega, for holding that segment down. Hashtag sloppy seconds Dom.
Sloppy seconds, Dom, man. I just shout out to Dom, man. Dom is just
Yeah.
killing it right now, man. Like, you
Yeah.
talking about, if you want to say like who's the greatest heel right now, Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio is living his best life right now.
He really is. He really is. Jeffrey says Finn is going to cost Damien, especially especially when he said on Raw, Judgment Day needs me. I don't need the Judgment Day. Yeah. Damian Priest has been coming out of his face, so he needs to watch out what he says. And I get it. You're from the Bronx, and that's just how we are. We just say it, because
I don't think he'll cost him though. I don't think he'll cost him. I think he will kick him out though. I think, because again, if you think about it, the only one really rooting for you in Judgment Day, the biggest one, is no longer there. She's injured. And then the only other one is Dominic. Carlito is on Finn's side. JD is on Finn's side. Why? Because you made them fight to get into the Judgment Day. You didn't mess with them. So they're going to easily side with Finn. Finn is now showing you he's siding with Liv. So I don't see him costing him as more as how they did with Edge.
That's true. And JD is his protege. So they've been in cahoots for years, even when they were in NXT UK. But Priest, I think Priest's downfall could possibly be the return of Rhea, because he called himself the leader on Monday, and we all know damn well who the real leader of the Judgment Day is. Just saying, y'all. Just saying.
And I think what's going to happen is friction is going to start happening more and more.
Yes.
Dom's going to be in the middle, and that's what breaks it with Rhea. He's going to take his frustration out on Dom, and Rhea's not going to play that. It's like, yo, you don't look. I know Dom may have been fighting these urges, brother.
Fighting these urges, yeah. And then honestly, Seth Rollins waiting in the wings with the whole stipulation for the world championship. If he loses, he leaves. If he wins, he'll never challenge him again. A lot going on, a lot cooking with this storyline alone. Lots of stories within stories within stories in here, man. It's crazy.
So that was my other thing I want to ask you. So with this stipulation happening, because I don't think Damien's gonna lose. I think they do want to keep this riding and to go with Gunther, especially with it being new talent. And Mayor just put something on there because I want to know, because if you think about it, when Roman comes back, Roman only has one hump left to finish, and it is Seth freaking Rollins.
Oh yes, that's the real revenge tour right there.
So
that's the real revenge tour.
So does he somehow get drafted to SmackDown since he no longer will be able to go after it, or do you see him staying on Raw?
Honestly, I could see Roman being a free agent and doing whatever the hell he wants. But that's number one. Number two, if he were to stay on SmackDown, he has a lot of things that he could, unpack as far as, the new bloodline, the Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins. But Seth Rollins is on Raw. But I mean, I think Roman could go either way. Either way. But we got to get it moving because we do have a few more minutes until Dynamite, and I want to make sure that we get through that preview as well. But shout outs to LWO, Liv, Dom, Judgment Day for holding it down. This is so look at her like Zelina's like a I don't want to say like but it's like seeing a chihuahua barking at a big dog and she's not afraid. You know what I'm saying? My
Not
little
back
girl ain't
down.
afraid to step up to nobody. Even she stepped up to Rhea Ripley, so she's definitely not afraid to step to Liv.
You
But
can
shout out.
build her as the equivalent to Rey Mysterio, the biggest women's underdog.
Yes.
That's how I know Zelina's gonna be a champion. She's
Yes.
gonna have one of these belts very soon.
Yeah, facts. Totally. Moving on really quickly, something really interesting sparked the wrestling air today, where a certain EST of the WWE, not WWT, the EST of WWE has invited Caitlin Clark to the Rumble, to the Royal Rumble happening in 2025. What do we think of this, real quick, Councilman?
Oh yeah, just real quick. I think it's good. You've already been seeing the blend with sports, like from Patrick Mahomes being there, even Pat McAfee and everything. I think it's just a greater testament to the rise of the WNBA status and popularity. And I think this just helps aids that by bringing her over here and getting that crowd to be able to also get into the WNBA. So I think it's a great strategy and a great move.
Absolutely. And you want to talk about, collaboration, like crossing over, all kinds of things like that. That's a lot of fun. I think Caitlin Clark will bring a fun element. I don't think she should compete, but I think she would bring a fun element. But I will say this, if you're going to have Caitlin Clark, you better be calling Angel Reese to show up as well, because that will be juicy, and I would be here.
Well, I know that'll be for Raw. I know they'll probably want that for Raw.
Most likely.
Raw, yeah.
Most likely. I love that. But yeah, this was a pretty cool little interesting fun fact that happened today. We're gonna try to get through this one quickly, because everybody who knows me and my tag team partner here, we really love to talk about our beloved Uncle Howdy and our experience and QR codes and following that rabbit hole. Taylor Rotunda. I'm going to call him Taylor. I know a lot of people are still calling him Bo Dallas, but I don't think this is Bo Dallas no more, guys. This is Taylor Rotunda. And we had a very interesting interaction on Raw where not all of the Wyatt Six showed up, but Abby, or someone who's seemingly Abby the Witch, but we know who really is under there, had appeared on Raw to deliver a package, delivered it to commentary while interrupting Chad Gable in the ring. Chad escaped, made his great escape, and left, for his, for his own sanity, which he should, being that he's had quite an experience with the Wyatt Six already. Abby had delivered a package with a VHS tape, which is something we haven't seen in years, because we don't even use VHSs out here no more. We don't even use DVDs, y'all. But for all of y'all who live under a rock, back in the day, those were the things you had to record your TV shows, your favorite music videos, your favorite wrestling shows, or whatever it is that you watched. You either had the 5-hour tape, the 8-hour tape, and all of this stuff. But this was pretty much a clipped tape, which also held an interesting exchange between Taylor Rotunda and Uncle Howdy. But Uncle Howdy is Taylor Rotunda, or isn't he? Not sure. There was a lot of eeriness going on, a lot of exchange, and there was back and forth questions. I mean, off the rip, what did you think of this segment, Councilman? I know you loved it. I loved it.
I loved it, but secondly, Mayor, you are out of control in these comments.
Oh Lord. Cedric, we're not talking about that VHS collection. Cut it out now. Keep this PG. It's a family show.
Yeah,
damn it.
But we got because I know we got to get out of here soon. No, just with Jeffrey Rowe. Yo, this another Monday where you just got touched emotionally. It's in your feels. Like for a second Monday in a row, I'm sitting here I'm trying to keep the tears back. Like, yes. And you didn't know what you were gonna expect. Like, you and I were even like talking while it was airing and stuff like that. And I'm like, yo, all right, we getting into that third hour. What's about to happen? I need more. And it was just like, I know we felt that way even too after this air, but then watching it again to see how many elements were in there is just, it was such great cinema, and it was so beautifully set up and addressed a lot of the things that most people may have had concerns for. Like, just out the gate, how you felt when your brother died. I'm like, I started talking. I'm like, well, I'm mad when I'm like, oh wait, he ain't talking to me. He talking to me.
I was like,
we going there?
It was like hitting a brick wall. It was a slap in the face. Like, boom, this is the reality of it. And they're obviously trying to go a little bit more reality based than more so like Mr. Rogers based. Because it also took place in the Firefly Funhouse, but it just seemed a lot darker, a lot eerier, and a lot more sad.
Yeah, and I don't even think it's necessarily based still in reality, because we saw Bo. We don't know what Taylor's name is in here now. Does it still go by? Does he go by Wyatt now? Is he talking about Bray Wyatt when he passed away? So again, we may not even be mentioning a Rotunda. We may be mentioning a Wyatt. And so what is Taylor's new name in this? We know we had an alter ego, which is Uncle Howdy, but who is this person? Because he didn't mention that in here. You notice he never mentioned his name. So we don't know what his name is, but we do know that he said they forgot about us, and even addressing the fact of, and how do you feel about people feeling like you're just piggybacking off of your brother's legacy?
Yes, that was deep.
And the way he answered it, though, it was just like, yo, you can tell, like, hey, I'm finna shut down all the speculation in one video, which I did. Yes. And now you don't know what's coming. Nope. You don't know how they're about to target this stuff. You don't know who's about to be talked to next. And it was just like, it's nothing, no notes, as they say here in the Hollywood industry, no notes. It's all good. I have nothing to change. No notes. But I want to know, honey, from you though, after you saw this, where were you?
If I had to describe how watching this was for me, this kind of reminded me, and I only saw the first season. I never finished this TV show, but for those of you who are Stranger Things fans, I couldn't help but feel like this was like the upside down version of the Funhouse.
Yeah.
It's so much darker. It's so much more sad. It's so much more deep rooted in pain. You know what I mean? At the loss of his brother. Like, you could see it in his face, even when talking about it. You could even hear it in his responses and the way he twitched and the way he rubbed his face and the emotion. Somebody said it in the chat here, but he was literally in an acting bag. And when he said what Jeffrey quoted here, I always wanted to be like my brother. My God, it was just pure. It was just beautiful to see him acknowledge. And like, honestly, for those who don't understand when you're working as a creative, this is how you honor someone who meant the world to you. This is how you honor them with your creation, with what their creation was. Like, technically this was all from, if you think about it, this was all from the mind of Bray Wyatt, including Uncle Howdy. So it's like you have Bray's brother talking to the creation of something that Bray created, which is now a part of him, which makes it so much more deeper and puts so much more emphasis on how this Wyatt Six family is going to remain together. I was just floored through the whole segment. I wonder what we could see going forward. I think that we could possibly see, maybe we could see something like, are we going to see other therapy sessions with other members? Are they all going to be talking to Uncle Howdy, or are they talking to their alter ego personas? You know what I'm saying? Like, are we going to talk about Nikki Cross and how she was forgotten? We're going to talk about the neglect of Dexter Loomis with his family. These are all people who have unfinished business in WWE. Joe Gacy even. Like going, and Eric Rowan, especially, the loss of his partner, the loss of Brody Lee and Luke, aka Luke Harper.
I think he's next.
I think we could see a lot more tapes being delivered with more sessions built with this. And what I really also liked was that Uncle Howdy was the form of the therapist's voice, along with a bunch of other voices. It was very distorted, very creepy, very eerie, and I really, really, really loved every single second of it. But going forward, who knows? We'll have to wait and see what happens on Monday. And unfortunately, I hate waiting. It's just like waiting for a damn Game of Thrones episode, man. It's just complete utter torture because this was absolute chef's kiss, and I loved every single second of it. Shout outs to Bo Dallas. And shout out to Taylor Rotunda. I'm gonna go to Taylor Rotunda. Taylor, you're the freaking man. And please just keep giving us more. Just give us more. We love it. We love it. We're here for it. We support it. And shout outs to the late great Bray Wyatt, of course. And finally, just to go over quickly, we do have our card for tonight on Dynamite, which is taking place right now. If you're watching, tuning in, it's 8:05. It marks as the final Dynamite before All Elite Wrestling opens the Forbidden Door, going down at the KeyBank Center in Buffalo. We got Swerve Strickland with Will Ospreay teaming up to fight Gates of Agony. We got the Blackpool Combat Club and Trios action against the NJPW's LIJ faction. A quarterfinal match for the Owen Hart Foundation as well. MJF is apparently kicking off the show right now as we speak. So it's going to be a lot of fun stuff to look forward to, being that Forbidden Door is right around the corner. We'll also hear from everybody else's favorite women's wrestler on AEW, Mercedes Moné, the TBS champion, mid-card. And also hearing from Daniel Garcia, as well as we got some action with Kyle O'Reilly versus Zack Sabre Jr. And then, of course, we got the BCC and LIJ as well. So it's going to be really, really fun. Lots of fun. And I guess that would pretty much conclude our broadcast day this evening. Appreciate everybody here in the chat and stuff like that. Let me see. Not mine, honey. Mayor, you know that was for you. That was especially for you. Boza says MJF and Daniel Garcia are in the ring. So we got a lot of action going on. So make sure you guys go over and tune into that. I appreciate everybody coming on in to chat and hanging with us. We're sorry we were a little tardy to the party, but we appreciate you nonetheless because you still love us even when we're late. Councilman, tag team partner, where can the people find you?
You could just find me at Justice for Roxanne. Us Pereziacs will not stop until justice has been served.
Pereziacs
against the lovely lady of Vice City. We will not stand still on this. If y'all would like to join us next Saturday, we will be having a march in Vice City next to their city hall until justice is served. So if you want to make sure to get the link in that petition, you just got to follow Justice for Roxanne. And that's all for me. Honey, what about you? How can they follow and support you?
Well, you guys can follow me here and find me here with my favorite peoples to hang with, the WWT Live crew, Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, 6 p.m. Eastern time, 3 p.m. Pacific time, depending on where you are at. And follow me on all the socials, Wrestling with Honey TikTok, Wrestling with Honey Instagram, Wrestling W Honey on Facebook. And subscribe to the YouTube. It's going to be up and running. I know I've been saying that for a while, but your girl is trying to catch up with some things. And, you know, life happens and things happen. You just got to get through it. So, but the Wrestling with Honey podcast will be up and running on that YouTube soon. Also want to give a quick shout out to everybody in the chat. If I don't get to all of you guys, please don't be upset with me. We got Boza, said, of course, our esteemed mayor, Matt, Dylan, cousin Ron, Jeffrey, Eric, Cindy, good to see you always popping in. Let me see. Bear Hudson, shout outs to you for all the fun little Hansel and Gretel breadcrumbs you were leaving us this evening for apparently something that's happening on SmackDown. I'm missing somebody. I feel like I'm missing somebody. Eddie. Yeah, Eddie James, All-Star Fandom. Good to see you as well. Thank you so much for joining us. If I forgot you, please don't, like, as what does Professor say? Charge it to my heart, charge it to my head, not my heart. Please don't. But yeah, you guys can find all cool things at wwtalkpod.com. Check out all the cool merch we got there. And we are going to roll out of here and get you guys ready and going for Dynamite. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in with me and my other half of the tag team champions in the digital entertainment world. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for acknowledging Women's Wrestling Talk as your number one women's wrestling network on the planet. And we will leave you with this brief All Caribbean Wrestling commercial from our sponsors. Ciao for now, guys. We'll see you Friday.
Have you heard the news? It's pretty big. I heard from my friend who heard from her friend all the way from the Caribbean. Well, when I heard from my friend, I became super excited. And I think you guys will like it too. WWT now has an official partner, and it's All Caribbean Wrestling, the premier promotion across the Caribbean. Go to allcaribbeanwrestling.com to check out all the latest pay-per-views, or go on the YouTube page at All Caribbean Wrestling. Also, go and check out their socials on Instagram at All Caribbean Wrestling and on X at All Caribbean WR1. Now, you make sure you go and check them out and tell them WWT sent you. You hear me?
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at wwtalkpod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms, like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at wwtalkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the number one women's wrestling network on the planet.